Hi guys, welcome back again to Eco Designs to Feed YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how to sew this beautiful off-shoulder blouse. It is very simple, and if this is what you're interested in learning, please keep on watching and let's get right into this tutorial. Remember, in my recent tutorial, I shared with you guys how to draft out the pattern. So this is just me trying to take you back to how we drafted out that particular pattern. And after this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out on my fabric and we begin to sew them together. Okay, so if this is what you're interested in learning, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So guys, here is my pattern and I've already cut it out on the fabric. Now to the upper part, I went ahead to add up half an inch, and to the down part, I decided to extend the length by adding 1.5 inches to it. And you guys, for the front pattern, I also cut out the lining. Now here is to the back. I added half an inch to the upper part and then 1.5 inches to the down part, and this is the lining. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and also bring in my sleeve. I went ahead to cut out my sleeve off camera. I added half an inch to the upper part and decided to extend the length also using 1.5 inches. Now guys, we are going to start with the fronts. Now you can see that the lining is 1 inch shorter than the actual fabric for both the front and the back. This is because we want to be able to achieve neat finishing so that our lining won't be able to come out after we are done turning out the actual fabric with the lining. Also, the same thing goes for the sleeve. I went ahead to shorten the lining with 1 inch. So guys, we are going to start with the fronts. Now I'm going to remove every other part and then bring in the front. Here is my front. I'm going to make sure that the right side of the lining is facing the right side of the actual fabric. And I'm going to start with sewing the down parts using half an inch. And after that, I'm going to top stitch. And then after top stitching the down part, I'm going to equally sew the upper part using half an inch and top stitch. And after that, I'm going to sew the sides using 1/4 of an inch. Now after that, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. Here is my back. This is the actual fabric for the back, and I'm going to place in my lining just like the fronts, and then also sew using half an inch to the down parts, top stitch, and sew the upper part using half an inch, top stitch, and then sew the sides. I'll do that for both the two pieces of the back. So guys, after doing all of those things, this is what I have. Now it's time for us to go on and sew the dart. Okay, now guys, to sew in the dart, I've gone ahead to trace it out on my fabric, and I did that on the wrong part. So here it is. This is the front. I've marked it out for both the two sides, so I'm going to go sew it on my sewing machine like this, just like I'm showing you for the two parts. Now after that, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. But first of all, for the back, I went ahead to mark out my zipper allowance and then marked out my darts. Okay, so you can see the lines. I'm now going to move over to my sewing machine and sew it just like I'm showing you. And then after that, I'm going to sew my sleeve. I'm going to first of all turn my sleeve with the lining just like we turn the bodice. So I'm going to place the sleeve right side facing each other and turn the hemline using half an inch, top stitch, turn the upper part, top stitch, and then join the sides. So after doing all of those things, holding our darts, this is what I have. You can see that the dart is being ironed to lay flat. Okay, so this is for the back. Now next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and go hold my zipper allowance. Okay, so remember the line that I marked out for the zipper allowance. I'm going to go run a loose stitch on it. Now after that, these are my two sleeves. I've also joined it together. Now what I'm going to do next is go ahead and bring in my back and fronts. use my pins to hold them in place, okay? And then I'm going to mark out my body measurements. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to remove 5 inches for the off shoulder and place in my bust point, my waistline, and then the down part is the length of my top. Now after that, I'm going to divide my body measurements by 4 and then place it following the middle line. So you can see what I am doing. So I'm going to divide my bust by 4 and then mark it out on one side and mark it out on the other side. After that, I went down to the waistline and then did the same thing. Also after that, I went down to the hip line and then divided my hip circumference by 4 and then marked it out on the both sides. Now after all of this, I'm going to go right to my sewing machine and then join them together just like I'm trying to outline. So I'm going to go stitch it just like I'm showing you, and after that, you guys, this is what we have. You can see how beautiful this is looking. Now it is time for us to go join in our sleeve. So what I'm going to do is place the underarm of my sleeve to the underarm of the bodice and then join it together. Okay, now after that, I'm going to equally go ahead and loosen up my zipper allowance and then fixing my zip. So guys, after I was done fixing in my zip, this is the final look of this off shoulder blouse, and the fitting on me is what you saw in the beginning of this tutorial. I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you do, please guys, do make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to share it so that more people can get to see it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.